Let's talk my March knitting plans. Hey everyone, welcome to the Stop, Drop, and Knit podcast. My name is Lisa. I'm coming to you from Long Island, New York, and this is a podcast where I chat all about my knitting and spinning and natural dyeing projects. Let's talk my March knitting plans. Okay, so February went by really quickly, didn't it? The goals that I set for February, actually, they went very well. I think I planned out that short month really ideally. The goal for February was to finish this sweater, which I had a sleeve and a collar to knit on this sweater. Was also to finish my Feel the Burn sweater, which at that time, just meant putting 2 sleeves on it. But as you guys know, the saga, that one is ongoing. So I had the goal of 3 sleeves, finish the sock number 1 for my husband, which that's ongoing as well. And also to finish clue 2 of the Twists and Turns shawl, Mystery Knitalong by Stephen West, and I completed that. So, what are my goals for March, you ask? I will tell you. Do you guys remember my oldest whip ever? My oldest UFO. I have revisited. I'm so excited. All of the Lights by Locatelli. I have been working on this again. Oh my goodness, you guys, this is such a joy to knit. So we're gonna talk about this a little bit. So, so this is like basically, it's a cardigan, as you guys can see, with a whole lot of stuff going on. So when you saw it last, for 2 years, so I started this sweater in May 2020. I bought the yarn in March 2020, right before the pandemic, and then I started knitting it in May 2020. And I got all the way to the point where I just barely connected under the arm. And then it sat for 2 years. 3 years? 2 years. 3 years? Except for 3 years. Is that right? 2020? It's 2023, isn't it? It sat for like more than 2 years, maybe a little bit less than 3 years. It sat for a while. This was cast on a full year before this sweater. So it must be 3 years. Oh my goodness, guys. So this week, I, as you can see, have added, I don't know, 2 inches, 2.5 inches, 3 inches under the arm. So that means that I have done another 2 complete pattern repeats. So this is a little bit of it's complicated. A complicated pattern because there are so many different sections to this sweater. We have a cable, we have a braid, we have a lace panel, we have texture stitch, and then we go to the back of the sweater and we have right on the back. So that's how we hang at the back now. So it's nice and symmetrical. In the center, we have a cable, and then we've got on each side the lace pattern, and then on either side of the lace pattern is an Aran pattern. So, see if I can get that to focus. It's so stunning. And then the texture stitch is worked under the arms, which is brilliant because I'm sure that that's where Locatelli was able to do a lot of her grading for size differences. It's gorgeous. I am thoroughly enjoying this knit. I cast this on in May 2020, so my goal is to finish this by May 2023. So it's the beginning of March. Today is March 7th. And I've already added 2 repeats on. It's a pretty long cardigan, like it goes, I'll insert a picture, but it goes past your butt. And it's stunning. There's pockets. I love it. So my goal for March is to knit the rest of the body. I don't know, I'm hesitant to make finishing the whole sweater my March goal because I don't know how long it's going to take me. There's a lot going on. It takes several hours to do just 12 rows because now the body is like the whole front, around the back, or the whole front. Every row has a lot going on. Every row is very long. So I'm hesitant to say I'm going to finish this whole sweater during the month of March. But I feel pretty confident that I started this in May, and that gives me 2 months, and I think I can finish this in 2 months. So my goal for March is to grow the body to its full length, add the pockets, and then hopefully, we'll see where we're at then, but hopefully I can get the sleeves done in April, if not earlier, and then have this ready to wear 3 years after I started it. Wouldn't that be amazing? So the yarn that I am using, I picked this up right before the pandemic. There was the Long Island yarn crawl. I actually picked it up the day before the crawl started because I was flying out of town to Alabama. So, but I picked this up from that. This is Ba Sonoma, and it's the colorway Yellow Jacket, which I just thought was so beautiful and perfect for spring. So I've always envisioned this to be a spring cardigan. This is what the yarn looks like. It's really like super speckly, but it's gray, but also yellow, and then there's some like orange specks, and there's also like, where's a good section? For here, there's like pink and green and blue, and basically like, oh, these strands here have like a lot of the specks going on. Let's see if I can get that to focus in for you guys there. So I don't know if you guys can see that, but I love it. So it's a DK weight yarn, and I'm really, really, really enjoying it. Normally, I wouldn't use such a busy yarn for such a busy pattern, but Joji Locatelli did her sample in a speckly yarn, and it's just beautiful. So I've seen a lot of people's finished projects. There's a lot of people who did it in like a solid yarn, one solid color. It's gorgeous. I could see myself knitting this sweater again in a more like basic color to have as like a staple for my wardrobe, but one thing at a time. And I'm determined to finish this Joji Locatelli pattern because she just released La Prairie, which is another cardigan, much shorter, and I am dying to cast that one on, but I cannot justify casting on that Joji Locatelli cardigan when this one that I've also been dying to knit has been sitting unfinished for almost 3 years. So I'm gonna power through this one, and we're gonna get this baby done, and it's a lot of fun. I'm so glad. It did take me a while to like get the pattern going again. There's the charts are different amounts of rounds, like the lace chart is 12 rounds, the cable and Aran charts are 16 rounds, the braid chart is only 6 rounds. So there's like different numbers, and you have to keep track of, I had to actually write out like when I'm on row 1 of the lace pattern, it's row 5 of the Aran pattern and row whatever of the cable pattern. Like I had to actually like write it out, and then I actually had to print out this entire pattern because it was way too much. Like the charts are all on different pages of the pattern, the key for the stitches and the lace section is again, it was on a different page. So just on the tablet, there was just way too much like scrolling back and forth towards screens, and it was taking up so much extra time. So printed out the pattern, and ever since I did that and wrote out like the order of rows for what chart so that I had something consistent to look at, and then it started going a lot more smoothly. So that is my first March knitting goal. And I have another one. I have one other project from my whip pile that I'm going to share with you. That is another goal. Let me get that. Okay, so my Twists and Turns shawl, the Mystery Knitalong from Stephen West. I finished Clue 2 finally during the month of February. So Clue 2, I had to do like the other cable-y section here, and then that was it. Like I had 3/4 of it done already, but now it is completely finished. And so my goal for the month of March is to knit all of Clue 3. So we are getting there, 1 month at a time. I have started Clue 3, which is this band of, there we go, I'm trying to get, oh, there we go, the light on it there. So it's like a twisty stitch pattern. It's going to be wavy, like that. It's going to be like a big squiggle line. And I think I have to repeat this, what I've done, 3 more times. So it'll be like 1, 2, it'll be like this long, I think, right? And then the other thing, so I've got to do that on both sides. So I've done 1 of 4 repeats. It's look really nice in the light, actually. There, you can actually really see that if you hold it to the window. There we go. So I have to do that on both sides of the shawl. So it'll also happen on this end. And then I also have to knit a whole bunch of little I-cords to like weave in and out of these cable-y sections here. So actually, here we go. You can see that much. Look at that. Look at the difference between that and then like get it nice in the light like that. So it is coming. I might actually finish the Twists and Turns shawl this spring. We'll see. Yeah, so those are my goals from my whips list. Of course, also like continue working on my husband's sock, but I'm waiting on the yarn. I mean, I'm going to finish the first sock, but I'm waiting on the yarn to come in for sock number 2. So I don't know when that'll come. It'll be a few weeks. So that'll be going on in the background. But I have been such a good knitter. I've been such a good girl working through my whips list. And you guys know that I can't be so good for so long without finally giving in to casting on some new things. So let me share with you 2 projects I am for sure going to be working on this month that are brand new cast-ons. I have been craving some basic sweaters in my wardrobe. I tend to gravitate towards like color work and things that are really, really fun to knit. And even though I love the look of them, I tend not to knit just basic everyday sweaters. But when it comes down to it, that is what I pull from my wardrobe most frequently, is solid colors, textures, just a little bit of interest. Every once in a while I'll wear something really fun like this, but what I really want is to start knitting a little bit more intentionally for like a long-term wardrobe that I want to build for myself. So my first thing that I'm going to talk about, my new cast on, the other day I had to go into New York City. I am on Long Island it's a quick little train ride away, but honestly, I don't go into the city. I just don't. It's expensive. It's just expensive, and especially since the pandemic, like, you know, things. So I had to go in once last year. I did not go to the yarn store last year. And this year I said, you know what? I have not been to Knitty City since the year 2012. 11 years. So it was time for a trip to Knitty City. I had to go in for work. I had my kids at the music school had their graduation concert at Carnegie Hall. So I went in earlier in the day, and I planned enough time to go up to the Upper West Side to go to Knitty City. I got the cutest bag. Look at this bag, how cute it is. So, I didn't know exactly what I was gonna get when I walked in there. I had an idea in my mind of some sweaters that I didn't quite have the right yarn combinations for. And yeah, I went in kind of not, like I had a sweater in mind, but I didn't know if I was gonna find the right yarn for it or not. So yeah, I just went in, and I had one of those experiences where I walked in, and within 60 seconds of being in the store, I found the yarn that I wanted and ultimately bought. So the yarn that I gravitated to, I'm gonna get it out here. I've already been working with it, so let's see. I've got one that I did not wind yet. And all right, so I got two different bases. I saw this color. Look at this color. Look at this color. You see the gorgeousness? So I was like, that color is incredible. This is the Plucky Knitter. I have never worked with Plucky yarn before. I've heard of it. I've never worked with it. The base is their Luxe Merino Light Sport. So it's 100% non-superwash merino, and it is 100% ultra fine merino, non-superwash, 105 grams, 333 yards, and the colorway is Limerick, which I just thought with March and St. Patrick's Day, just really liked the name of it. I'm gonna open up the skein so we can get a closer look at it. Well, first of all, look how pretty. It's so stunningly gorgeous. I've been really into green lately, and this is like a teal, bluish green. So look at these colors. Gonna focus? We're not gonna focus. Do I have to stand up? I might have to stand up. Come on, camera. Let me see. Can we focus? We're not gonna focus. There we go. We're finally focusing. Look at the colors. It's so beautiful. So it is stunning. I am absolutely in love with this color. So then, after I found this, there were only 2 of these on the shelf, but they had looked in the store for me. They looked in their system and they said, we have 8 of these. So they went to the basement and I needed 4. Let me just get a little closer. There we go. Now we can actually see. Like, so this is what I saw, right? It's so It's so pretty. It is so... Oh, I love this. I love everything about this so much. So I was able to get 4 of these, and they also had their Plucky Plume lace in the Limerick colorway. Come closer again. So this is a Surrey. It's baby Surrey alpaca silk. It is 328 yards and 50 grams. And they had just 4 of these, which was exactly what I needed. So I had a pretty big purchase in Nitty City. Look at these. Please focus. Look at these colors. I don't want to focus. There we go. Look at these. It is so pretty. So what am I going to knit, you ask? I am casting on the Harlow sweater V-neck version by Caidree. I have never even heard of Caidree until like 4 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago, something like that. And all of a sudden, like, she's everywhere. I've never heard of her. I don't know. Her patterns are beautiful. So this is, I'll put a picture on the screen. It is an oversized, relaxed, deep V-neck sweater. It's gorgeous. I'm holding both yarns together. I am struggling to get gauge. I am going to save all of that talk for its own separate video. I am going to have to do a separate video about gauge and this sweater, and just gauge in general. So you guys can be on the lookout for that in the next week or two. But yeah, I've been knitting with it. So we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it in detail, but this is my swatch. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm still not done. I just started another swatch. We're gonna talk about this, but basically, like, I've already knit, like, I've already knit myself a cowl. Like, I don't know. I think I'm gonna need this for my sweater. Like, there's so much yarn in here. It's like almost a full skein of yarn. For my swatch, I swatched in the round, but let's look at the let's look at this. I don't remember which end is which now. I think this is the first one I did, so this is. Look at this. How it's knitting up. It's beautiful. It's so pretty. So we're down to like here now is what this fabric is looking like. So there's gonna be a video dedicated to getting gauge. It's a good topic. We're gonna do a topic video. Yeah, so I just started another one. It is so soft. Even just the DK, the Luxe Merino Light, is so soft. But then, like, putting the Surrey alpaca, I've never knit with Surrey alpaca before, is so soft. And the two of them together, it is like an absolute dream. So I'm super excited about this sweater. I want to get it right. I am so glad I didn't just blindly cast on like I usually do, because my gauge is wildly off. And I mean, I expected that. I'm using different yarns than the pattern, different, like, not a lace merino, but Surrey alpaca instead. So those are even slightly different weights. So I knew I was gonna have to go through this swatching situation. But yeah, we'll talk about that in more detail in a separate video, because this is already pretty long. But I thought that the sweater in that colorway, knitting it during the month of March, St. Patrick's Day, I'll have another light green St. Patty's Day sweater eventually, like for next year. I've got one other project that I have cast on, so let's talk about that one. All right, so my other new cast on is for Owen. So this will be something that I talk about in my knitworthy section in future videos, but we'll just do it now in here. So I have shared this with you before. It's already all caked up, but I have the Trine from Spin Cycle in Owen's absolute favorite colors, orange and blue, and I don't know, it's like a grayish, beigeish, off-whitish. I have no idea what that third color is. No idea. Very neutral, right? It's kind of like a dirty white or something, but I want to tell you the color. So this is Trine, which is their Spin Cycle's new 3-ply worsted weight yarn. I also knew I was going to want to swatch in this because as Spin Cycle yarns go, they're like, this, as I predicted, is knitting up thinner than a worsted weight, closer to DK probably, maybe even sport, but like their sport weight knits up like a fingering weight. So I knew it was going to be lighter, but it's 100% non-superwash fine wool, 150 yards. It says worsted weight. The color is 29 degrees. So that is the label, whoops, and the color, and then this is their Trine label. So I bought 5 skeins of this. You guys have seen me work with this yarn recently. I knit the green and black one, which was I think color 14, into a Roku hat for Owen. So Owen is really benefiting from all of my Spin Cycle purchases lately. But I did another swatch because, as I said, I had a feeling I was going to need to go down a needle size to meet gauge. And so look at this fabric though. It's so beautiful. I love this so much. I can't afford to buy more of this right now, but I definitely want to knit myself a sweater using this yarn. There's a Weekender, an Andrea Mowry Weekender Cal going on right now with Spin Cycle's Trine, and I'm not going to be able to participate in the Cal, but this is just, it's so pretty. I love it so much. So I had to go down from, let's see, I'm knitting Flax sweater, which is a free pattern by Tincan Knits. I am doing the size 8 to 10, which is the highest kids size before like the small adult sizes start. I had to go down to a size 7, and yeah, so that is what the fabric is going to be for Owen's sweater. I really, really, really love it. And so I cast on, I started the cast on last night. There are 2 options. Get this out. There's 2 options for casting on this sweater. So this pattern is written for the beginner knitter. So many people have knit this pattern. I've never knit it before, but they have sizes from baby all the way to like gigantic man, right? Like gigantic adult, teeny tiny baby, super size inclusive. It's a pattern that works. It's a unisex pattern. It works for everybody. And it's just a great pattern, and they're really, really clear in the instructions, which is really great. They give you 2 options for the cast on. So you can either jump right into knitting the neckband and then proceed from there. Or what I did was option 2, which is to cast on and then start knitting the sweater, and then I'll be picking up for the neckband later. And the reason why I decided with option 2 is because a couple of reasons. I wasn't sure if 5 skeins of the Spin Cycle, technically I'm supposed to have enough yarn and I'm meeting gauge, so it should work out fine. But whether I have enough yarn or not, I also thought it might be fun to knit like the collar ribbing and the sleeve ribbing and the bottom ribbing in a different color, because I have both of these like orange and blue colors in my stash. So that's kind of my idea, is to knit like the whole sweater in this fabric, but then have maybe like a pop of blue for a collar, maybe some pops of orange on the cuffs. I don't know. Maybe like a blue collar and orange hem and one of each for the sleeves. I don't know. I just kind of wanted to do something a little bit fun with it. And I have some Cascade 220 left over from a previous sweater of his. So I have enough of that to use for, you know, the collar and the ribbing sections of this. So I didn't get too far. I'm still going through the raglan increases. I got about halfway through it and then just like had to go to bed last night. But I really wanted to get started on this. So I'm knitting that for Owen. And then there's one more project that I will share with you that I am planning to cast on this month for sure. So I've got it all wound up. I actually wound this up back when I received it in September. This is some sock yarn from Wonderland Yarns, and they have like a sock club of the month. Look at this beautiful speckly gorgeousness, right? That's so pretty. I have no idea what this color is called. I don't know if I know what this color is either. Let's see. It's a knitting kit, so I don't know if it's going to tell me the colors. Let's see. It was Sock Club number 2. It's the Mary Ann base, which is fingering weight. It's 590 yards. That is so much. It's 5 ounces of yarn, and it's 85% superwash merino, 15% nylon. And so it doesn't tell me the colors, but I mean, it's gorgeous. It's just gorgeousness. It's a tonal in this beautiful color. I love it. And so the pattern for the Sock Club is called Fairy Ring. Where is it called? Fairy Ring Sock Kit. And so there is I've got like a QR code for the pattern. And so I wound this up. They sent this to me. I received it on my birthday in September. So I started a shawl actually that night. They sent this yarn to me and the shawl yarn at the same time, a different shawl from the Stephen West shawl. But yeah, I've been meaning to make these socks. I have never knit a pair of colorwork socks. There's just a little bit of colorwork around the leg, and then the whole rest of it is just, you know, regular. But they're so cute. And if you guys have been here for a while, you know that I have a thing with dyeing yarn naturally from mushrooms. And so when I saw these little mushroom socks, I said, I must have those. The colors are beautiful. It's mushrooms. It's like right in my wheelhouse, like exactly what I wanted. So that is the last like new project that I plan to cast on this month. So that is everything that I have for you today. As always, you can follow me on Ravelry. LisaJack78 is my username. And I'm also on Instagram at Lisa Westervelt Flute Studio. And if you have not done so already, I would love to have you subscribe to my channel so that you can keep up with all of my projects and all the things that I share with you. And I really tremendously enjoy receiving comments from all of you. So please leave me a comment. I hope that you all have an amazing week, and thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.